of all the older musicians he knew who still toured and played and had no intentions of ever quitting, because what else was there but the joy of this? His band had kept on, even in the face of younger and younger bands, younger dreams, too. Dad rock, someone had once called the band, which Simon knew meant you didn't rock at all. But now, all that could be different. Just last month, the band had been playing at Lobster's, a dive on the New Jersey shore, all chipping gray cement walls and scuffed floors, no chairs or tables, so you had to stand. Then this guy strode in, and for a moment Simon hadn't recognized him. Not until the guy lifted his face and took off his dark glasses, and Simon saw those familiar, odd green eyes. He saw the gleam of oil that slicked back that famous wild mane of black hair, and there was Rick Mason, 26 years old with 3 Grammy wins to his name, settling against the wall, leaning forward and listening to the band. Really listening. Afterward, Mason even came backstage and told them how influenced he had been by their early work, how when he heard they were playing this joint, he had his driver bring him right over. He talked about how blown away he was by Rob's voice, how it soared so high that it made him feel like every glass in the place would smash. He talked about Kevin's drumming, and then he turned to Simon. "Charlatan eyes, man," he said, shaking his head, awed, and Simon froze in wonder that Rick Mason actually knew he was the writer, that the two of them were actually sharing the same space. "So I got this idea," Mason said. "What would you guys think about being my opening act for a 2-night gig in Los Angeles? And if that worked out, well, maybe the rest of the tour, too." Simon had been so shocked that he felt his tongue freeze in his mouth, but Kevin grabbed Mason's hand and pumped it. "We're in," Kevin said. "We're so in." And suddenly, there it was right in front of them, shiny as a new dime. Hope. They would be noticed. They would get a new manager, one who could even break them out to the bigger labels. Maybe Simon could even sing what he wrote. It happened so fast, with the news traveling like a river breaking through a dam. There was a small mention of them in some of the music publications, in print and online, how they were opening Rick Mason's show. Simon cut out the item and kept it in his wallet, another lucky piece that eventually ended up in tatters because he kept taking it out and rereading it. Simon began coming home at 4 a.m. after rehearsing, so keyed up that he couldn't sleep, damp and sweaty and so exhilarated that Stella tried to be happy for him too, although inside she felt selfish, sad, and guilty. He saw hope, but she was on the ground. This gig was just a 2-night engagement, and even if it became a tour, it didn't necessarily mean stardom. Mostly, she thought of all the things that she herself wanted, and like Simon's dreams, they had an expiration date she couldn't ignore. She loved this apartment they were in, and she loved him, but she felt it was time to make some decisions. She had been hoping that the grind of his traveling might finally stop. He could still do what he loved, write songs, do some session work, and he could do it right here with her. Wasn't it time to move on, to build a bigger life, finally get married, have a child? "I'm glad you're going to be there for all of it," he said. She had told him she'd go to LA because it was so important, and it was the first time she'd be traveling with him in a very long time. She agreed only because it had seemed to matter so much to him. He was so anxious that everything turned out different this time. "You're going to be my lucky star," he told her. They were going out 4 days before the actual concert, and Simon had convinced her that they could get some vacation out of it too. But now she wasn't so sure, because she knew he'd be rehearsing all the time. It felt like he was angling for more from her, rushing toward this new life and wanting her to speed there with him, when still nothing was for certain. She had given up things for him before. After their first year together, she'd left her job as an RN because it was so exciting to travel with him. And then being on the road got old, or maybe just she did. But by the end of her 2nd year of touring with him, she began to feel the need to be a nurse again. It was like a physical pull. She missed having a community of doctors.